Hello and welcome back to part 6 of the video on political science subject for the first year BA LLB students. In this video, I am covering topic number 1.1.6, which is the constituent elements of the state and the importance of each element. Now, what is constituent? Constituent means parts or elements of a state. What is state composed of? What is it made of? So state is not only random collection of people, that is, it is not only made of population or people or institutions. It is a well defined political entity, that is, there is a government also that comes into existence. That is, the state comes into existence only when certain essential elements are present. That is, all essential elements are present. These are known as constituent elements of the state. Without any one of these elements or parts, a state cannot exist in the true sense of the term. According to political science, there are four essential elements of the state which we have already covered in the previous videos, but here in this part I'm covering it into more detailed explanation. So let's look at the four parts or the four components of a state, which is population, territory, government, and sovereignty. Each of these play a vital role in the formation and the functioning of the state. Let's look at the population first. Population refers to the people living permanently. The keyword here is permanently within the state. The population of the state is made up of people having permanent status. It is the human element without which the state has no identity. That is, if there are no population, if there is no population, then there cannot be any state. Now, what is the importance of population as a part of the state? People are the foundation of the state. First, laws, policies, and governance are created for the benefit of the people or the population. The population gives legitimacy, that is recognition, to the government through elections and civic participation, which means the people elect its government through election process, and the same population also participates in civic activities. Next is a minimum number is not fixed, that is, the population can vary, but there must be a stable and permanent population. For example, even a small country like Bhutan has a population which qualifies it as a state, a sovereign state. Next, let's look at the second constituent element of a state. The second part. State is made up of a territory. That is, the territory refers to the fixed geographical area or the boundary over which the state has authority and control. This includes land, water, and airspace. Territory defines the physical boundaries of the state. What is the importance of territory? So territory is nothing but physical boundary of the state. The boundary or the territory helps in identification and recognition of the state. That is, India also has a fixed boundary or geographical territory, and therefore it helps in recognizing what is under the sovereign control of India. Territory is where the government exercises its jurisdiction and law enforcement, which means the control of Indian government is within its boundaries, that is its jurisdiction, that is where the laws can be applied to its citizens, to its population. Without a defined territory, the state loses control and becomes unstable. For example, disputes over Kashmir or Palestine show the importance of territorial clarity in statehood. Next element we'll look at is government. Government is the institution or system through which the state operates and enforces laws. As we already know that state is a concept, state is an idea, but the state is represented by the government of that state. Government is an institution. It is made up of parts of branches of legislative, of executive, of judiciary. So it's a system through which the state operates and enforces laws. What is its importance as a component of the state? The government provides order, stability, and structure. Government represents the state in internal and external matters. That is, the state is represented by its elected government. Government protects the rights and freedoms of its citizens. Government maintains law and order through legal systems and enforcement agencies, that is the police and military and so on. Government promotes economic and social development. This is one of the basic functions of the government. For example, India has a parliamentary form of government which manages the entire country's administration. We look at the final part of, or the component or the element of a state, which is the sovereignty, which is very important. Sovereignty means that the state has the supreme and independent authority. That is, the state governs itself without any internal or external interference. How is it important? Sovereignty allows the state to make its own laws and policies. The state, if it is sovereign, it can make its own laws and policies. Sovereignty ensures independence and self-rule. Sovereignty establishes the state's authority in international laws, and the sovereignty enables the government to act as the final authority in internal matters. All laws and enforcement of those laws are the final authority of the sovereign state. And sovereignty, as we earlier covered in the videos, are of two types. One is internal sovereignty and external sovereignty. Internal sovereignty means the control over people and laws within the territory, within the geographical boundary of the state. Whereas external sovereignty means that the state has independence in foreign affairs and international relations. That is, it can deal with other states, other countries, and other countries recognize the sovereignty of India. For example, when India gained independence in 1947, it became a sovereign state with the power to rule itself. So now, to conclude this part of the video, the state is a combination of all four constituent elements which are all required to form a state, which is the population, the territory, government, and sovereignty. Each element is crucial and interdependent. They are not independent, they are interdependent. The absence of even one of them would result in the non-existence or failure of a state. So we need the population. Without the population, the state cannot exist. Who is going to enforce the law? Which government? On whom will it enforce the laws? So that is important. Geographical boundaries is very important to understand that a state is covered by its geographical boundaries. Sovereignty is important. A government, a single government is important. So all of these elements come together to form a state, existence of a state. Together, they provide the legal, physical, institutional, and authoritative framework necessary for functioning of modern states. Understanding these elements will help in analyzing the nature and the scope of political organization in any society. Earlier, I had mentioned in the earlier video, what political and what politics means. Political means to stand, to have some kind of authority. With this, I conclude this video. Thank you very much for your time. Take care. Bye bye.